There are days when life feels wrapped in such dense darkness that it's hard to imagine a light at the end of the path. Maybe you're familiar with that feeling, the weight of doubts, relentless worries, and the silence that seems to swallow every ounce of hope. In those moments, it's natural to ask, why is this happening? Is God still here with me? It may seem contradictory, but darkness can help us see something we often overlook in the light: God's care, which remains present even when we can't perceive it. I know it's not easy, but could it be that this darkness is an invitation to look beyond, to trust that He still has a purpose, even now? This is a reflection worth pondering, especially when everything feels lost. You know, life sometimes feels a lot like winter. That cold that seeps into your soul when everything around you seems so gray, so empty. The trees lose their leaves, the wind bites, and the sun, when it does appear, feels timid. You look at the branches, and they seem lifeless, dead. And maybe that's exactly how you feel right now. A silence that hurts. A void that weighs on your chest. A persistent, "will this ever end?" echoing in your mind. I understand. I've been there. There was a time in my life when everything felt stagnant, frozen, as if nothing would ever change. It was as though the world had closed in around me. I carried a pain that made me question how far I could go. What once felt so certain suddenly crumbled. Waking up in the morning was hard. The silence of the house seemed to amplify my thoughts, and I kept asking myself, is God still here with me? Deep down, I knew He never abandons us, but it's hard to feel that truth when you're hurting. What I learned is that winter, it has a purpose. It's hard to see it when you're in the midst of it, but something is happening, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Nature shows us this. During winter, the trees may appear dead, but their roots are steady, working silently. They're strengthening for the spring that will inevitably come. And that's what I want to remind you of today. Spring always comes. There's a passage from Psalms that helped me a lot during that time. Maybe you know it. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That morning isn't always literally the next day. Sometimes it takes longer. And I know how hard it is to wait. But it will come. I remember one particular day. It was raining outside. I felt so alone, as if the silence itself had weight. I picked up my Bible with little enthusiasm and opened it. I can't explain it, but it was as if the words jumped off the page. That psalm. I didn't cry out of sadness, but relief. Not because everything immediately got better, but because I realized I wasn't alone. God was there, in my winter. And looking back, I can see that period taught me so much. About myself, about life, about trusting. It wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight, but little by little, spring began to appear. Sometimes it comes in subtle ways. A friend's kind word, a strength you didn't know you had, a small door opening. It doesn't have to be a grand miracle. Sometimes spring starts with small signs. Maybe you're living through that winter right now. And maybe, like me, you're wondering if spring will ever come. I want to tell you, it will. It might take longer than you'd like, but it will come. God hasn't lost control. He's there, working, even when everything feels still. So, breathe. Just that, one step at a time. What you're living through now is not the end. Spring always comes, and with it, the promise of new beginnings. When I look back, I see that my winter wasn't in vain. I learned to grow deeper roots, even when everything felt like it was falling apart. I don't know what your struggle is today, but I do know that just like in nature, life always finds a way to bloom again. I know that when we're in the middle of winter, thinking about action or taking any step can feel impossible. Sometimes all we want is to curl up and wait for it all to pass. But you know, life, even in its hardest moments, calls for small movements. Not big leaps, just one step at a time. Maybe the challenge today is this: take a step, even if it feels insignificant. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath and reminding yourself that you're not alone. It could mean opening a window, letting the light in, or finding one thing to be thankful for, even if it's small. I remember one specific day in my winter. I was so overwhelmed that even praying felt hard. So, I did something simple. I went for a walk. The sun was timid, but it was there, breaking through the clouds. It felt like God was saying, "I'm still here." It didn't change everything at once, but it gave me strength to face another day. Maybe that's what you need right now. Not to solve everything, but to find one small ray of light, something that reminds you that God is caring for you, even in the middle of this difficult season. If you can, pause for a moment. Breathe. Think of something that is still growing within you, even if it's small. A strength you didn't know you had. A person still walking beside you. Or simply the fact that you're here, listening to these words. That itself is a sign that God hasn't left you. Winter doesn't ask for haste, but for patience. And in these moments, every small movement matters. Maybe today you can offer a simple prayer. It doesn't need to be eloquent, just honest. God, help me trust you. I need you. These small steps, taken in faith, make room for something greater, something God is already preparing for you. One day at a time, one step at a time. You are not alone. Hope in times of darkness. That title might resonate with you in a deeply personal way today. Maybe the darkness around you feels impenetrable, and the winter of your life is heavier than you can bear. If that's the case, I want to remind you of something simple yet powerful. Value the small steps. I know how difficult that can seem. When the pain is overwhelming, even the most basic things feel like a challenge. Maybe today, it's just opening the window and letting the light in. Maybe it's taking care of yourself, drinking a glass of water, eating something nourishing, or replying to a message from a friend who cares about you. These are small steps, but they matter. Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Nobody becomes an athlete overnight. There's a process, a rhythm, and every little victory counts. Even if it feels like you're not moving forward today, I want to encourage you to celebrate every achievement, no matter how small. As I share this, I'm reminded of a deeply personal memory, and perhaps someone needs to hear it. During my teenage years, I went through a winter that felt endless. I had no friends and, worse, no desire to live. It felt like the world around me was closed off, and all I could feel was pain. I didn't understand where it came from or how to deal with it. I remember nights when I would wonder if it would ever pass. It was a long, painful process that often felt impossible. But slowly, with small steps and support, I began to rise, one day at a time. And today, I'm here to tell you, I know it's hard, but you can do this. If you feel like you're in the winter of your life right now, remember this. Winter prepares the ground for spring. Every tear, every prayer, every quiet moment has a purpose, even if it's hard to see right now. I don't know when your spring will arrive, but it will come. And until it does, I want you to know this. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be, as it is written in Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Trust in this. Spring always comes. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.